and go to the units. Make sure that your units are consistent and you're picking the right ones. If I open the file from the beginning, you go to new and then project, you will see 6 templates, and then what you need to pick is the construction, but you need to select the metric construction, because everything will be in the metric system. Once you click on it, the project will open up a new project for you, but at the same time you have to make sure that your project units are okay regarding it's picking up in meter. And one of the things that you want to change is the length here, because the basic unit will be in millimeters. You need to shift to meters, because that is the logic in construction, because we're building huge buildings that are counted in meters and then fractions of meters for sure. Regarding the rounding, make sure that you make 2 decimal places, because if you place dimensions, it will not show as 1 digit. It has to be 2 decimal places, so that it's going to be the precision going to be in this level. Those are 2 things you need to adjust. And beside this, I think everything is in here fine in degrees, areas in meter square, and other stuff. If you hit the OK button, what you do next is that you go to the architecture and then start to tailor your wall. What kind of wall you want to have? We said we have 2 options. We can go for once we pick the architecture, if the wall is non-load bearing wall, we can pick generic and go with it. It's just generic, something that is just 2 lines, and then we go with it, and then we can adjust it afterwards. Or we can from here we can go edit the type that we want to do. So that I pick this one and then I go to edit type. Do not forget to once you want to create your own, to duplicate what you have, because if you edit the generic that is already placed in the library here, it will edit the original one. So that you need to make duplicate, and then we will name it exterior wall and hit OK. So that in here I will do just my wall. You don't have to stick to it, but the cross section that you came up with is that what you need to stick to if you want. So that, as we said, we have 5 categories. We are in here. Structure is the main structure of the wall. What is the main? If it's masonry, bricks, CMUs, whatever, the main structure. And then the substrate are the layers that are before the finish layers. And we said that we will do finish 1-4 is for the exterior, finish 2 is for the interior. And then of course we have the 2 layers here that are thermal air layers, and that is just an air layer, and then that to protect this layer from. And of course, if you want to add more layers for thermal protection, you can still adjust and add layers and add materials to it. And as we said, whatever this is the interior side below, and above is the exterior side. So that the wall from interior read as this: finish 2 gypsum wall board, and then the structure is brick special, and then the substrate is concrete sand cement screed, which is the layer that is to level up the wall, and then it does have aluminum from outside. This is a wall that is just a pick, or you can adjust it. If you want to adjust the brick here, I can go into my library and pick whatever brick I can see, so that I can make brick common. I pick that one, which is common running like that, the common bond in it like this, and I pick it. It will replace the one that I have in here, and I can also specify what is the thickness of that layer that I have. It's a structural material, so that it is tagged. Any material I put outside the boundary is not a structural material. So the structural material has to be inside, and then the wrapping is how the layers will revolve or wrap around the opening and doors, and so that is it gonna wrap in which direction, or it's not. If you unclick it, that doesn't mean it's not gonna wrap. It will end up as if like the lines are parallel, and the edge of the wall or the face or the side of the wall is just showing the layers in order. We don't have wrapping, but for sure we are wrapping while we are making the our finishes. If this is not clear, let's just talk. Let's unclick those and hit our OK. This is my wall, and that is my exterior wall. I hit OK here, and I draw it like this. So that if we don't wrap, that means these layers are exposed from the side, from the face. Whenever I make opening, I make doors or windows, you see that the layers here do not wrap. It's going to be shown from this side. So this is the wrapping. Let's get back to our wall and click my exterior wall again. And then let's just show the other features of the wall. What does it have? If we edit, I think we still can upload whatever we want. We can upload as much as possible. We can insert layers in here, but this one is complete, so that we don't need to adjust it or edit or add anything to it. But for your assignment, you will come up with the section that you specify in your building. Of course, the materials, as we said, we can pick it up from here. We can adjust the pattern, as we will see today, how we adjust the pattern of these, if it's cut, if it's elevation, how it looks like. One of the things also useful for you, if you want to duplicate or you want to come up with your own materials, you can come up with a material or duplicate it, so that here create new material or duplicate selected material. So that if I create new material and then I give it whatever name I want, so that if I come to here and I take this one, the new one, and then I give it a new identity. I would say this is my mortar, like this, and if I hit apply, it will be like this. But how can I assign things to it graphic wise? It doesn't have anything yet because it's a new material, so that I can go to the existing library here, or what I can do is just I open up the asset browser that does have materials projected. So one of the useful libraries is the Autodesk here. You see these materials in it. What you can pick whatever thing that is close to what we have. You have here these ones. Maybe the plaster is going to be something close to it, like this. This is the plaster, and I want to load it to my material so that it's loaded in here. Did I load it? Let's just this plaster. Yes. So that it's loaded, and once it's loaded, that means I created a new material. Or you can pick one and duplicate and then adjust the element that you can see from here. So this is regarding the materials that we have. So after initiating your wall and hitting OK, you are having your wall ready. You start drafting your building, what you need from your building and how the walls will intersect and interact. But before that, also you have to specify what is the entrance point of this wall, as we will see, and then what is the base constraint and what is the top constraint. Where does that wall start and where it ends regarding the levels before drafting it. So that if I open the 3D, you would see that by default we'll have several sections here, several several levels here, and it's going to be more obvious if I pick any of the elevations as we would see here. So that this is the east elevation. If I take the north elevation, it will look like this. So that I have levels created by default in the program. You don't have to create any level; it's already there. But I created level 3 in that project. The way to do this is that if you click on the one of the levels and then you create similar. So that by creating similar, you are creating similar to this line, and you specify what is the height. So that suppose I build 4.2, and then I go all the way till here, it will create this level for me. So that I have here another level which I can bind my wall to this level. So that if I come to this wall and I say at the end, let's not make it unconnected, let's make it connected to level 4. Once I create level 4, it will be projected in all of the drop-down list. It will be created for me. If I hit OK, it's going to be applied to it. So that this layer, if I adjust it or move it like this, the wall will move with it. So this is one of the benefits of having the wall attached from base to top into the level. So that even for that level, if I adjust it, it will move with me. So that here, if I adjust that, the wall should move with me, because I make the top and bottom are constrained to the levels level 1 and level 4. If I don't want to adjust it afterwards, suppose I want to make it to level 3, it will adjust to level 3. So this is the benefit of having levels and adjust thing to it, so that whatever you build is attached to these levels. We will talk about this construction-wise, why we bind to levels and what is the best way. So there's no best way, there is good and bad, or there is advantage and disadvantage of making a wall continuous or making the wall cut by the slabs, as we will investigate this into the edge of the building or the envelope of the building. So this will create to you the boundary of the level of the wall. If we go back to the plans, you can draft your building. So that I'm just drafting something, we can go here and pick the same wall that we created or whatever. If you have different exterior, you can create your own walls, different walls from that, and then you start to create. Pay attention that we are in this line also, in this ribbon also, it shows you whether you are going height or going depth, because the constraint, the level that you are having here might be the top of the wall if you go to the depth. So this is one, is it connected or unconnected? You can also specify from here. And once you pick level 3, it means that this dimension, this height will lock off, because it is going to respect the two levels, level 1 and level 3. The location line is the where do you want to start your wall? What is the insertion point of your wall? So that if you pick the finish face exterior and start to work, it will make the finish is the line that you insert, as you see from this dashed blue with the exterior wall here. If you pick another one, so for instance, if we give example for the wall center line, it will start as the wall center line from here. If it changed, for sure, that means they all have set of walls beside after each other. And of course, you can make offset, by the way. If you want to make offset, you can specify what kind of offset you want to have. So that suppose I want to do a 4-meter wall away from this, so that I can come here and then draw that, so that it will make an offset wall that is 4 meters. But pay attention to the dimension, because it might be deceiving a little bit. Where is that? What is that 4 measured? So it's measured. You see that this 4 is not measured even as the clean space. So that you have to pay attention whether the insertion point, what are the relation between the insertion point and the parallel line of that. So these are the options of the wall. And let's just, of course, you still have the right click and create similar. It will create identical wall to what you specify. So that suppose I am here and I go 4.5. So let's make it 10 meters. And I will go here, let's say 6. And then I go here 4, and go here and close it like this. So this is my premises of the building. You have to make sure of one more important thing, is that the orientation of the walls are placed correctly, so that this face the outside and this face the inside. Sometimes when you draft, you'll find some of the walls are flipped, and then when you check the 3D and you put a high quality in it, you will see that the wall sometimes, regarding the pattern, is flipped. So let's make that. I just want to do. This is constrained, this is realistic a little bit, just it will take some time. But if you do that, you will see that the wall is not showed as flipped. You can flip it, you can still click the wall and adjust, especially if you have a pattern for the outside, it will show up directly rather than seeing it as a realistic view. This is my level. If there is a need to flip, you will just click on the wall and click this arrow. It will change the orientation of the wall for you, and then better to make sure that your walls are oriented in that direction and everything is fine. So I constructed here my walls only, nothing else, no doors, no windows, no floors, so that we'll have some limitation while we are going into the other options. But this is regarding the wall initiations and regarding also the layering of the material of the wall. So that if I come to here and I want to know what are the dimensions that I have, if I pick this line and start going from one layer to the other, this is specifically exactly 0.1, this is 0.05, this is 0.2, similar to the wall that I created in my wall initiation. You need also to construct the interior walls. This is exterior. It doesn't make sense to place it in the interior. Why? Because I have different orientation. I think this was aluminum, this was gypsum board. So that if you click it here, if you make the same wall, create similar. If I make the same wall here and start to construct, you don't know which one is which one. So you know, but this, I mean, like the face from this side is aluminum, the face from that side is gypsum board. Doesn't make sense. So that you have to create your own partition wall and allocate all of the partition to it, differentiating it from the exterior. So if I suppose I will do the same thing, I will go to my wall and I'll pick another kind. I don't want to go to the same exact one, but let's make just select this one. I will select this one and then look at the type. It does have metal stud layer, gypsum wall board, and it does have 3 layers of gypsum wall board. I don't know why, but that is built in the, and then gypsum wall board from the other side. Finish, as you would see here, it's just metal studs and gypsum wall board from both sides, and it seems like they are the same materials here, but that is something you need to investigate. But just for the illustration, I'll take it as is, and I will start to place it in my object. If I if you want to do pick line, is going to be useful in this case. If you want to offset from this line with a specific dimension, you can go here and say, suppose I want to offset 4 meters, and that will create a wall for me. But you have to pay attention regarding the dimension that we just said, because this dimension might not be the core of the wall. It might be the face, it might be the core, so that you have to make sure that your dimension here, it's not representing the clear dimension. It's represent the dimension from the core to the side. If I, let me try that. I will go back to my wall, and you can take that one and then offset it 4 meters. Location line, let's make the finish face interior in this case, and let's go pick line, finish face, and in here, so that pick the dimension. If it doesn't work for you, this is exactly 4 because I picked it correctly. If it doesn't work for you, you can still construct it. It's not going to be a problem to build your interiors in here. So that I can make that, and you see that here is something important. Once I open this, and of course, because the wall is weird, this wall is weird, it does have 3 layers of gypsum board, so that's why it appears like that. But pay attention that they do not close to each other. This is a layer of gypsum board for the original wall, exterior wall. It opens up with the other one, like in here. So that if I have one layer from the left of gypsum board, you would see a perfect L open up to each other because they are blended together as one material. Whereas this one is metal stud, and this one is, I think, brick. So that they do not open up to each other like this, which makes sense because it's 2 different materials. They do not, they cannot be blended in one material. So this is what you need to know about the wall, so that it gives you sufficient information to initiate your walls. And of course, if you want to do a curved wall or something like this, what you can do is that you still can use this button or this these options in order to create arc with the center or free ones, anything like this. You can create it here, or portion of a circle or something like that. You can have several options to work out your irregular walls. By doing so, we can shift to the command that we talked about also last time, which are the doors. Here, the doors, by having, I think, one of the built-in will be just this one, the single flush, and it comes in different variety of dimension. The dimension, the width and the height, several ones in here. If you don't see if you don't like what you see, you still can load the family and go to the library of the that is built in and look for doors. So that if I see the doors here, you will see a good amount of them. You see some commercial doors, and you can pick what door you would pick from here, from the library here, and then load it to your building. So these are different ones. Suppose I take that, and it gives me the list, the variation, the type, 17 multiplied by 200, 17 by 20. If you want to load them all, you can load them all, and then they will show up in your library. If you drop down here, you will see that these kind of doors are added. Let's pick the doors again, architecture, doors, and then in here you would see that the doors are added to you in here. I don't think we double glass and double side. This one is loaded, so that you can pick what you want to, and then after that you can go in here, and suppose you want to do this as your door. You start to place the doors in here, and of course, if you pick the door and go flip, you can still flip it. If the door is just single, like the door that I just placed, you can reorient it in 4 directions. So suppose I have my door here, you can, if you click without placing, click on the space bar without clicking on the window, clicking on the mouse, it's still gonna reorient with you. So that in here, even after you pick it, you can still flip the direction for it, as you would see here. Of course, if it's a public door, it has to be placed so that it opens up to the outside of the space. Because of the emergency, if you need to evacuate, you have to place the door towards the outside of the space. Now let's talk about some detail here. I think this is something that we've not discussed before. It's useful to talk about it. The placement of the door is or a proportion of a wall here that is not less than 60 centimeters, or you can make it so that once you place it behind here, the brick that you build with is going to be accommodated completely here, so that you don't have half brick in here or something. So that if your brick is 20 centimeters in length, it's better to make the door away from the wall 20 centimeters, because once this is built in the wall, placement of the door is not going to be an issue, because the worker or the mason, when he want to construct, it's going to be very hectic for him to cut this into half and then make it's not doable even. It's not going to be professionally done. Or the other option is to make this at least 60 centimeters, and that is for a purpose. If it's a residential or it's an office building or something like this, you still can accommodate any piece of furniture behind here, a wardrobe, or you want to make a cabinet, something like this, and that should be at least 60 centimeters, which most of the time the door is closed, and you make sure or make use of the space behind it. Or even in bathrooms, you can accommodate a shower or something behind that door, rather than, because if you make it close to the wall here, this space is completely wasted. Whereas if you make it at 60, 70 centimeters and then you place something behind it, you still can use it. This is just architecturally, but structure-wise, or we need to make sure that we are away with at least 1 brick length.